Bozoma Saint John did not just show up on Watch What Happens Live to be cute or polite. She showed up with clarity, confidence, and zero fear of calling things exactly how she sees them. And when it came to Kyle Richards, let's just say, the math was definitely being checked. The moment Boz uttered those now iconic words, "The math ain't mathing," it instantly became clear this wasn't just a fun game. It was shade, it was analysis. And yes, it was a quiet drag. The whole segment was framed as a lighthearted WWHL game. Andy Cohen asked Bozoma to react to different situations involving the women on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and decide whether they made sense or not. But what Boz did differently from most guests is that she didn't rush her answers. She actually thought about them. And that's what made her responses feel sharper, smarter, and way more powerful. When Kyle Richards' situation came up, things shifted. Kyle had said she would have loved to be more open about her relationship but couldn't be. Boz paused, considered it, and then said that part actually made sense. On the surface, that sounds supportive. But when you look deeper, that response also quietly exposes the issue. Because if Kyle truly wanted to be open, why was everything so confusing, guarded, and inconsistent all season long? Boz wasn't attacking Kyle directly, but she was highlighting the contradiction. And that's exactly where the drag lives. What made fans gasp wasn't just what Boz said, but how she said it. Calm, collected, no yelling, no fake laughs, just logic. Boz has a way of letting silence do the work, and Kyle's storyline has had plenty of gaps this season. Viewers have been questioning it from the start, and Boz simply verbalized what many people at home were already thinking. The math wasn't adding up. This moment also didn't come out of nowhere. There has been tension between Bozoma and Kyle since Boz joined the cast. Boz has openly said that Kyle felt cold toward her at the beginning, and she didn't imagine it. She stood by that feeling and even doubled down later, saying what bothered her most wasn't Kyle being distant, but Kyle acting offended when Boz acknowledged it. That alone speaks volumes. Because when someone points out your behavior and your response is defensiveness instead of reflection, that's when the math really starts falling apart. Kyle has long been seen as the emotional center of Beverly Hills, the one who controls the tone of the group. But Boz doesn't play by those rules. She doesn't need Kyle's approval, and she's not afraid of disrupting the usual power dynamics. That's why this WWHL moment landed so hard. It was subtle, but it challenged Kyle's long-held position without Boz ever raising her voice. The phrase, "the math ain't mathing," became a perfect summary of how many viewers feel about Kyle's narrative lately. One minute she wants privacy, the next minute she's sharing just enough to stay relevant. One minute she's guarded, the next she's upset that people are speculating. Boz didn't accuse her of lying, but she did something more effective. She questioned the logic. And for someone like Kyle, who has built her image on being the reasonable one, that hits harder than an argument. What makes Boz especially dangerous in this space is her background. She's not new to high-pressure environments. She spent years in executive roles where reading between the lines is survival. So when she looks at Kyle's story and says, it makes sense in theory but not in practice, that's not a random opinion, that's analysis. And Kyle felt it. Fans immediately picked up on the energy. Social media lit up with people praising Boz for being direct, but not disrespectful. Many said she was saying exactly what they've been screaming at their screens all season. Kyle wasn't dragged in a loud, messy way. She was dragged intellectually, and sometimes that's the worst kind. What also stood out is that Boz didn't say everything Kyle did was wrong. That's what made the moment feel fair. She acknowledged that parts of Kyle's explanation could make sense, but she didn't let that excuse the confusion surrounding it. That balance is what made her critique feel real instead of mean. It wasn't personal, it was logical. Kyle, on the other hand, has struggled this season with how she's being perceived. She wants empathy, but resists transparency. She wants understanding, but avoids clarity. Boz clocked that instantly. And when someone like Boz clocks you, it's not about drama. It's about truth. This is why that WWHL moment is being replayed over and over. It wasn't loud, but it was powerful. It shifted how people see both women. Boz came off as confident, observant, and unbothered. Kyle, whether intentionally or not, came off as inconsistent. And once viewers see inconsistency, it's hard to unsee it. What's interesting is that despite this moment, there are reports that Kyle and Boz are actually on better terms now. That doesn't erase what happened, though. If anything, it proves Boz's point. You can acknowledge tension, speak your truth, and still move forward. Boz didn't need to fake anything. She said what she felt, and that honesty earned respect.